Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Travis Told You, November 27th, Thursday, 2025. Oh my god. Frog in the throat right away. That's a good sign. Oh, it feels like it's there. So, hang on. Let's hope that got rid of it. But, yeah, my name is Travis Snell. This is the, not by week. I don't even know. I guess this is 2 times a week type of show that I do here. For 2025. I'll probably do it for a little bit, maybe some January, get some downtime, then I'll do the survey to see if people are liking it. But let's not waste too much time. Let's kill this music here. Big shout out to everybody in America who is celebrating Thanksgiving. If you're listening to this live or the day after, I hope you get a day off. I hope you get some time with the family and get to eat some good food. Obviously in Canada we have ours in October, so I hope you're enjoying that, watching some football. I'm currently watching, or in the background, you got the Packers. Hopefully, let's not jinx this, about to beat the Lions, but I don't know. You never know. Lions are tricky. But yes, and today we're here to talk about Stranger Things 5, Season 5. Also a voice crack in there, so that's great. 5, Season 5, Volume 1. So that's what they're doing, releasing this. As I've said before, Taylor was thinking about joining, but because he's got baby on the way, he thought, he's not going to be there for the last episode, so I digress. So it'll be me. I'll be sitting here reviewing these. We're going to talk about I'll give you like 5 minutes of non-spoiler thoughts, and then we'll get right into it and dive fully deep into the first 4 episodes of Volume 1. So, nice. So sorry, just a work-related thing. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing. I will be reviewing the other 2 volumes as well. So if you like this, obviously subscribe to the channel. I'm do Trash totally twice a week, but I'm also on regular Geek First and side quests and all that stuff. So just because sometimes I feel some of the bigger reviews, sometimes we get some people that don't always listen. And yeah, we usually have about 4 to 5 episodes a week, sometimes more, of covering video games, news, trailers, movies, TV shows, everything. Lots of stuff going on. Welcome to Dairy Reviews right now. We're getting ready for the Game Awards, so lots of content there on SideQuest. Weekly Geek will be talking about, and then Avatar's on the way. So yeah, lots of good stuff. Appreciate if you subscribe and like what we do. And if you really like what we do, head over to Patreon, because I think this weekend the Christmas movie retrospective poll will be going out, and we'll be picking a Christmas movie. You can listen to the Minecraft retro now. You can listen to the originals, which is a really good episode. It's the last one of the year, but really good about some stuff about my twins and our filming, Kirkland's whole Japan trip, and Taylor's moving experience, which you will not guess the ending of the story, I promise you. It is a wild time, but yeah, down below is Patreon. Those are exclusive episodes, and yeah, you can get everything we do there ad-free. That's the best way to support us, because all of that goes right to us. There's no ebbs and flows as far as marketing or sponsors or ads. That's the best way to support us, and we thank each and every one of you. And I'll shout out the Patreon producers: Aaron Braden, April Darkness, Jack Grant, Sam, Superbad Mike, God Loves Me 69, Charlie Randall, Cocktail Clay, John with No H, and Sam Green. Let's get right into it. That's all we're talking about today. Next week, who knows what we're talking about? We'll get there. But yeah, I'll be here for, obviously, bad date for Volume 2, because they drop it right on Christmas, so that sucks. Luckily, usually what happens, we do Christmas dinner and then morning at the in-laws, and then we come back. So if I'm back early enough and we watch it, great. But that'll be sometime that week, and then the New Year's one, little easier, because I got little kids. We don't usually do too much for New Year's. I was like, yeah, my 6 and 8 year old Pat, yeah, we're gonna stay up. No, they're out by 10, so we'll see. But that one also, because I'm hoping they're supposed to play that in the theaters. I'm hoping we get that. So a TBD. But as far as Stranger Things, to get ready, I rewatched the entire show. I don't think I'd watched many of the seasons other than season 1 multiple times, just because it was a longer time. But this was, I really wanted to, for the final season, get refilmated with the show. And I guess my brief thoughts is, I love the show. There's little cons here and there. There's some seasons that are better than others. Currently, my season rankings are 4, 1, 3, and 2. You can join our Discord. We have a Stranger Things channel. We're talking all about that. It's funny. I feel like if anyone's in the chat or anyone watching after the fact does not have 2 ranked last, please comment and let me know why. Not saying it's bad, because I just feel like even just like random online person I see like on Twitter or Facebook is like season 2 last, right? And I don't think it's that bad. I don't think there's a single season I was going to say below a 9. Season 2 might be an 8.5, but even then it could be a 9. I didn't really think about it. I was just watching it for enjoyment. Obviously, when you're not reviewing things, you kind of watch things in a different manner, right? You're not picking it apart. But no, this show's great. Season 1's a 10, season 4 is a 10, and the other ones are somewhere between like an 8 0.5 to a 9.5. It's a great show. Sometimes there might be, a Russia storyline, a placement, much like the MCU, of some humor that might not work for me in a certain moment where I go, oh, this is supposed to be super serious and we're seeing never ending story. I was talking about this with Mike yesterday. Like the moment, just in the placement of, hey, a bunch of our kids are about to die and let's break down a song. But other than that, like it's a great show. It definitely, to me, if they can stick the landing of this season, will be up there for a top 10 show. I guess for me personally, but to me, I also feel like of all time, because I feel like it is one of those things where it just obviously became a phenomenon, so it spoke to a lot of people. But I think for many reasons, the casting, the vision, the cinematic nature of, yeah, sometimes it does feel like a movie. And I know some might be cross arms go, well, this is TV. That's fine. Like, we got Battle of the Bastards, like TV has changed. And I'm not saying something simple as like MASH or even Breaking Bad, right? Not Breaking Bad simple, but as far as there's never a set of 1,000 people running with swords and sandals or anything like that, right? But still, just if you have great writing and storytelling, that makes a great show. And that's what this has, right? It has all those things you're looking for and more. If I didn't mention it, I feel, around that time, I feel like people were getting nostalgic for the 80s, but I still think this is the best version of that. I think this happened and we have saw so many just kind of meh versions of the 80s. But to get into this is they do need to stick the landing, right? That's I think 5 seasons, that 4 to 6 is perfect. I've seen some 6s before, so it's like that can't, I think that's the right amount for most shows, right? Obviously it's different if you're doing like a sitcom or something, but for dramatic shows, high drama, 4 to 6 is your sweet spot. I think Breaking Bad kind of showed that, and there's other shows too, right? But Breaking Bad to me was like a perfect crescendo, like left right when it needed to. And obviously, Stranger Things has been going on for many years, but that's because of the nature, that's because of the schedules, all that stuff, and that's never bugged me. It's never bugged me about the kids getting old. The same with Harry Potter. It's like, so they get older. Yeah, sure. Do they look a little old with their high school backpack sometimes? Sure, but whatever. It's fiction. We at one point fucking had movies where 35-year-olds were playing 16-year-olds, right? Like, we're in a much better off state. So, love the show. Looking very forward to this season. I think I watched the first teaser, but I've been luckily I haven't been on the newscast, so I've kind of been staying away from them. I've seen a few things, right, because it's been everywhere. But so far, my quick non-spoiler thoughts, I've enjoyed the show quite a bit so far. I think it's going to be tough because it's one of those things that we're so used, other than last year they did split into 2, but we got the whole season. So to me, I can't be like, this is justifiable for a great last season. As of right now, these 4 episodes, yes, I think it's doing a great job as far as giving lots of moments to the characters we've known. They've done the classic Stranger Things as you meet a couple new ones. Even older characters that were around are getting more spotlight. I think there's some great big moments. There's some scares and everything. There are some good like kind of family or relationship dynamics and drama. It's hit everything that it does the same, like did before. It's doing the same as far as the same amount of quality. So that's great. There might be a few story issues that nothing's negative. I wouldn't say story issues, story things that aren't negatives. It's just kind of, I gotta wait and see, right? Just like every other show. So that's why I'd say so far, I really have no critiques. There's one storyline that I was like, oh, I don't know if I need this for the whole show because we've gotten a lot for it, but at the same time, it kind of looks like it's winding down a little bit. So, and there was an aspect where, oh, I don't know if I like that. But again, next episode comes up, go, okay, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with where we're going. I like what we're doing. So, no, I think if you are a fan for the non-spoilers, because we're going to get right into spoilers. If you're a fan of the show, as right now, these 4 episodes are, fine. Not fine, but I mean, like, you're good. Like, you don't have to worry. Also, we haven't seen the next 2 in the finale, because the finale could pull a Game of Thrones or something like that, right? Or a Dexter becoming a lumberjack. Doesn't matter. You still gotta win the game in a sense, right? And you can touch that ball right before the drop for the oh my god, I forgot what is the backfield of a touchdown. Oh my god, end zone. You could drop the ball right before you get in the end zone, right? We've seen that with countless of big shows. I have faith they're gonna do it, but you never know what's gonna happen. But so far, I think we're on the right trajectory. I think there's one thing that I think I can say this in a minor spoiler way. It felt like last season ended with, holy man, we're getting in the shit of things, where this show picks up right away. Like, things are kind of good. They're still doing a lot of missions and looking after stuff, but I felt like it's kind of, maybe they show that in previews, it felt like a little, if you were to watch season 4 right into 5 like I did, it feels like you almost look like, oh, you're going to war right away. And not really. There's kind of a cooldown. There's a time jump. And it's like, oh, and they give like some off, like not off. Well, I guess the thing happens off screen, but some reason of why they're kind of everything's a-okay right now. But yeah, there's some changes with the characters. I'm really enjoying what they're doing with Dustin. But yeah, that's my non-spoilers thought. I'm going to use most of this episode to talk about spoilers because I'm sure everybody listening has probably watched The Fort by now. But here we go. If you haven't seen it, that's my overall thoughts. So far, we're going good. Some great stuff in there. Some stuff I'm excited to see how it plays out because I'm, not unsure of it, but just kind of see, okay, I can't fully judge it till we get there, right? So, yeah, as right now, that's my non-spoilers thought. Gotta give you a second. If you want to get away, I guess I could take an ad break right here, which I'll do. And we're back. Okay, full into spoilers. So that's what I was talking about where last season ended with the earthquake and the world split apart. And they did say it was just an earthquake, right? But at the end, Elle's looking up at the sky. It's red. There's lightning everywhere. There's like dragons. Not actually red, but it just looks like hell has literally opened up here in Hawkins, right? Where, when we pick up, not really. I think like people are still going to school. They're under quarantine for sure. So life is different, but they're still like going to school. They're still like little kids are planning play dates and sleepovers. That was kind of, I won't say negative because I feel like we're getting into the thick of things right away and it feels like we're going to escalate to that point. But it kind of felt like with the last seasons, it's always, hey, a few characters know what's going on and then more and more learn about, right? And then at the end of season 4, it kind of felt like, oh, everyone's going to know about it. And it's just, the door hinges are off, where they did do that thing where they pull back, go, no, we don't want to get into that right away. I kind of understand. I feel like we're in episode 4 when this ends. There's 3 more, I think it is, even though like episode 2 or the finale is like 2 hours, right? So it's almost like 2 episodes together. So let's just say we're halfway. Kind of feels like we're going to that point, but I don't know if we're ever even gonna get to that point where like everybody knows, right? Still might just be a crisis or an earthquake, which I was kind of hoping wasn't the case, but that's fine. That's not a be all end all for me. So that happened. We pick up with our characters. I really like what they got going on with Robin. She's this DJ host, but because the characters are working on the government's there. They've shut down. Really like this aspect where they have government people actually in the Upside Down with labs set up. One, I gotta think that has to be like the worst job. Like, I hope you're getting paid well and great benefits. Imagine if your job is not only to like, it's bad enough like, hey, you know where these beasts are coming from and all this crazy sci-fi magical shit. Yeah, you're going to work around it. You're working in it. You're going through this hole and working in it. And that's where we've got to the point where now the government's going in there trying to, I think we don't know exactly the full extent of what they're doing, but they're doing government stuff, right? And that's something kind of like the Russian Russia storyline from last season where I didn't hate it, but the problem with the storyline was you never thought Hopper was not going to be found and he was not going to get back, right? So there was never any real intrigue there of like, oh, what's going to happen? It just kind of felt like we need something for Hopper and Joyce to do this season. We can't have them with the kids or don't want them with the kids. Let's do this, right? So this doesn't feel like that per se, but it just was even though it's still 7, 8, 9 hours, whatever. Let's just say 9 hours, rounding up with some minutes, half an hour, 15s, whatnot. Let's say it's 9 hours of content. That's still not a lot of time with the amount of characters we have. We have so many characters now. And that's the thing we were talking about on our Discord about who could die, etc., that type of stuff. I really don't need anyone to die, right? I'm somebody, I think it was Finn Wolfhard or somebody that said, oh, our show's not like Game of Thrones. I wish we could have some bigger moments or lost up here for that shock value. And for me, I'm not saying people can't die in a show. Like, look at Dexter. That was huge. But I've also seen it where Game of Thrones, there's 2 things. Game of Thrones, 1, sometimes it felt like too much like shock value. And 2, I kind of got disengaged from the show because for a while I feel like almost every character that was my favorite was going, right? So it's like there's certain characters I feel like had more meat on the bone. And I get that's the idea of a shock death, but to the point where it felt like it was hurting the story, right? I think Game of Thrones recovered, but there's still some things I go about. And same thing with Dexter. When I'll just say the big death happens in that show, I thought, oh, this is going to change the show. This is going to get us on a new wavelength. This is going to be massive, right? And this happens for a lot of shows, but I'm just using shows that I love. Nothing changed with that show, and it actually got worse, and the death kind of created a few holes where it's like, well, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. So I've seen it before where shows, the deaths can hurt them, other than you're getting that big moment of trending, and oh my God, you can't believe it. And like, look at Eddie dying last year. Great scene, but sure, I would love Eddie to stick around, but I agree with that character death. And as we're in full spoilers, I don't even think they're dead because they're like, well, she's recovering, he's in a coma. But when we were losing Nancy and Mike's parents, I'm like, these are kind of the deaths I want. Like, I don't really want to lose any of the main kids. I'm not opposed. That's not my personal feelings. The character's not going to make me an F, right? Like, if they kill 11, I'm like, oh, that's a fail season or it's not a perfect season. No, they can do that. I'm just saying these kids have been through the shit since Will went missing. They've not, like, that's where people go, oh, if they all survive, I can say, oh, they all survived all these years, somehow they got through it. It's like, one, they lost multiple people that they were friends with, right? A Barb, an Eddie, whatever Bob, right? I think his name was Sean Astin's character. Like, they've lost people they care about, and that's just fucking still childhood trauma. Like, you could not go through all that and still be like, man, life's great. Hey, so for me, it's like these people have been through enough. And there's a moment where Mike's talking about, which I'm worried, him and 11 are talking about, oh, it's very Lord of the Rings, right? Right? Lord of the Ring, right? Lord of the Rings, like, right? He's talking about D&D, which I don't play, but the idea of, usually you have to request too much has gone on for the characters and they don't go back. Much like Frodo in Return of the King, right? He can't go back to the Shire. It's just things have changed. He's seen too much. And he's kind of saying, but they kind of go to this like magical place with waterfalls. He said, we might not have the waterfalls, but we could have that magical place of us being together, finally happy. And that's the same thing. Like, what? 11 maybe got 1 year of happiness. I don't know the time between season 2 and 3. I think it's a year. If not, whatever that time allotted. Because even season 2, sure, she's alive and not being hunted the whole time, but her and Hop have a tension-filled relationship, and she's also lying, not being around her friends. She wants to be around her friends where she's not happy. Where at least season 3 for a little bit before they start fighting, like she's in love with Mike. She has friends at the school. They have a good friends group. Where in season 4 she's getting bullied, right? Season 3 she becomes friends with Max, and they have that great scene where they go shopping. So it's like, I don't want her to die per se, right? I think with this and the show so far, which way they're going, I'm still at a 50-50 deadlock. I think if anyone's going to be dying, it was going to be her. And because I thought it was her, Hopper. I don't think it's both of them. But, I saw in the score, Mike did give out a good point that even though we did just get that kind of fake death in season 3, would they actually kill him? I don't know. And I could see the whole thing where it's some sort of gimmick where, oh, we can't close the... It's tough because like, oh, we can't close this down without 11 dying, but they kind of did that in the first one, right? I would almost kind of like a fake out death and you think that's it and she is alive. Some people might not like that, and not even like season 1 where it's like, oh, so many years we find her, like right away it's like, oh, we're there, right? And that's the problem where a lot of characters have had a fake death moment. So I'm completely fine with them and going into that. And I guess I will get back to Robin, but with Will and how this ended, he pretty much has like 11 like powers. He's feeling the bumps as he has the other seasons, but we literally see in this one where he starts to see through the Demogorgon's eyes, he's starting to stop them. And then I guess it was the last scene of this volume, he lifts them up and breaks their arm and kills them like Vecna's doing the other ones, right? And that to me all makes sense. He wasn't experimented on a lab, but the way Vecna is putting stuff into children, which that flashback, sure, he got some iffy de-aging, but that flashback where Vecna's chasing Will and he gets him down and he puts like that thing in his mouth and it's like putting whatever in there and it's Will's like a little kid. Really fucking gross, like disturbing stuff. Like it's the visual of it being a little kid, like, man, like this is, and that's something where Vecna is like a Freddy Krueger, like, right? And that's why it makes him more scary or more disturbing because he's going after children's, and teens, but children as well. So it sticks with you. It's gross stuff. And to me, that all works where they're telepathically linked. Vecna's put a little of himself in him. So he gets those powers. Like that all works for me. Like to me, that all tracks. It's kind of like Vecna's like baking his cake and eating it too. Like he's sharing his gifts or skills or powers with people so he can do these things, but you can't just expect them not to get this stuff, right? In this whatever world the Upside Down is. So all that works fine with me. Will having powers works fine. When Will was getting those powers, they gave him this massive kind of montage of seeing friends and classic Stranger Things stuff, right? Like channeling the people you care about, the moments you care about. It's his mom, it's Jonathan, who I could not remember his name forever last night for a while. It's Mike, all that stuff, right? And he's getting those powers. To me, I don't think he dies because that montage was a death montage. That acted the same way as if you're saying goodbye to a character. And that didn't happen. Very much like Sadie Sink's running up that hill, one where she's running and you see everything with oh god, why am I also forgot his name too? Her boyfriend, I can't remember there. But so I don't think Will's dying, even though I thought Will was gonna die when this show started. I thought it was gonna happen, and so far no. And I'm liking the story of he's using Robin as kind of a conduit because obviously they revealed last season that he is gay. Obviously Mike is not gay, so I gotta pull up because that's bugging me about the name for Caleb there. But he is not gay. But it's this thing of he saw Robin with her girlfriend, and then she kind of noticed like, oh, he's not just like watching because he's a young boy or curious in that way. He's watching because like that's something he longs for. Lucas, my God, that's something he's longing for, right? And she gives him this pep talk and they use it. So I liked that. I like that as far as embracing yourself, that led to him getting these powers and among other things too, right? But I'm completely fine with him having the powers. It tracks for what they've set up in the show so far. I think it will be fun because it kind of gives him a purpose, which at times Will has. I think retroactively they're doing a lot of flashbacks, which is good. Like even Vecna in this episode says like, "Oh, the reason I used you and the reason it works so well is because you're super weak." And they show a bunch of stuff in season 2 where he's ripping up photos because they kind of did the storyline where a lot of the other friends had their own thing going on, right? They like Dustin and Lucas were interested in Max. Mike was trying to find Elle. All this stuff, right? And he and his brother had Nancy. All this stuff was going on, and he was kind of lost. So it makes sense. And also he was not suffering, but in suffering away as far as not being able to reveal his true intentions about who himself is, as far as being gay, right? So that's the thing where it's like, it's not that he's weak. It's kind of that thing of if you have something to fear or if you're scared, and that's what he was. He had a lot of that stuff going on where the others were a bit more confident because of the situation. So, but that's why I like the flip, right? Because Vecna is using that weakness against him, but then he gets to use that weakness against Vecna as far as, oh, you picked me, you gave me this stuff. Well, too bad I get to use it. So I think it gives him some purpose. I think it also helps as far as the good guys winning. And that's where it's like, so I really think that if like right now, I think for kids, they could go full and just kill a bunch of people, right? I hope they don't. I don't think that's deserving of this show. I think because that's the thing where even with Game of Thrones, a lot of those characters were adults, so they still had a life, went for battles that they won, got drunk, fucked men, fucked women, all this stuff. A lot of these characters were like what, 8 to 16, like their lives have not started. They've had a shit life. That's where I thought Hopper could go, but as we talked about in Discord, yeah, maybe not because they've kind of already done that recently in the show's history, right? So I still worry for Elle. I still worry it'll be some sort of, Vecna exists and he exists, or she exists at the same time, so they got to go together. I want her to get happy. I want her to be happy. I like her motivation this season too, because there's a lot of seasons where she's been quiet, or even season 4, right? She kind of regressed, and that was the point of the story, but she kind of regressed that she lost her powers and she was being bullied and lost. Not this Elle. She's determined. She wants to go and fight. She's practicing every day too much. She's wanting to get out there so much. She's kind of maybe lying to Hopper, maybe not. I think they did reveal that Hopper was lying, that she did actually beat the time. But this thing, as far as she wants to go out there and fight, it's no more of, oh, is Vecna going to get me? She wants to get Vecna. When they go to the Upside Down, her and Hopper, they both go separately, but they meet together. She just wants to kill him. She wants to kill Vecna, but not Hopper, like Vecna. Like she is out for blood, right? So I like this motivation. And it's kind of this thing of your whole life has been, obviously other people, Papa, all the other fucking science people, but her whole life has been engineered and messed up by specifically, like the last few years, Vecna, right? So to me, this makes sense. I like her and Hopper back together. I like that they did that right away, right? Because that's the other dynamic she has closely next to Mike. So obviously we didn't get that all of season 4. They are separated. Boom, put them back together, and they still have great chemistry, a great father and daughter, but kind of soldiers at the same time. They're talking about Harbor, and they're like, him losing his daughter, and him fully giving that story to Elle now about why he's so protective of her and whatnot. So all that stuff is good and working. The military stuff and the experiment, like I love Little Hamilton, but it's only a quick scene, right? But when we're going into this lab and she's cutting things open and they're talking about things and military stuff, I'll have to see when the season's done. Like to me, I really think like even like it's tough because it's still well written. That's why even like the Russia stuff, it's always well written. So it's never like, oh, I don't enjoy this and it's poorly written, so big time strike against the show, right? It's not. It's like when he has to interrogate that guy, he sits down and it's about a 5-minute scene of why the guy won't give him information. It is well written. It's just that I'm not too interested in the army stuff because we have so much of it, right? If they're just there as bad guys, hunting them down, great. I kind of hope, because what happens at the end of this is Vecna popped out, and I don't know what's happening. I guess because the base was going on. At one point, they almost insinuated that the army was keeping Vecna. Now, don't get me wrong. I get it. We'll get to the imaginary friend thing. I get it that it's like, oh, Vecna can find a different way to get out and do all these things. I don't know. I still like to imagine that Vecna's so powerful that he's not like being withheld by the 80s American government, right? Or even, I guess, our government. Like, there shouldn't be something where it's like, we've locked him. That should be saved for Elle, Will, and some of maybe the other characters we're going to talk about, right? That could have some similar powers. So to me, when that subplot was going, like, oh, they got him locked up, it's like, I don't need no Vecna locked up in a thing. And that seems like it's gone. Seems like he's out messing around, and that's fine. I just feel like, okay, he came out of this portal, killed a bunch of people. Don't know why he didn't kill Joyce. Like complete plot armor, right? He goes there, he's pulling pins from grenades, he's throwing fire at people. There's this great shot of his guard just climbing, and then boom, like his claw goes right through his face. Really disturbing stuff. But it's this thing of he's wrecking shop to everybody, and arguably other than the guns, Joyce runs up like, you leave my son alone, and he just force pushes her away, right? Arguably, if you're wanting Will to be super weak, you would probably take her out, right? Because that would mess him up. Maybe the idea is you don't want to, because that would fire him up, but still just feels like, why do our characters, the main characters, only get force pushed, but everybody else, and I know why, right? But it's just like from a point of view of the show, I wish maybe he would just kill like a couple people off the bat and then force push a bunch of guards away. But back to the original point, him doing all that, and then Linda Hamilton was like this is the thing where it's like, I don't know if I need the dynamics of her being like, I'm looking for you, because I was very happy that I know they did this with oh god, Paul Weiser, right? When he was like on the 11 good side. I think he's dead now. Maybe I'm wrong. Someone can let me know. But when she's like 11 and Linda Hamilton bump into each other because they have these like sonic wave things that create, stop Elle's power. So she stopped for a little bit. This is upside down, the army camp. She's like, oh, I've been looking for you. And the way she said it, I was like, oh, good. It's literally just going to be like, hey, we fucked up. We're cleaning up. We're going to end this all. We need your help to stop it. And like no twists, no turns, no nothing. But nah, she starts threatening Elle, and then her and David Harbour, which have a fun fight scene, but have a fight scene. So that's what I mean. Like, I don't need the army as an opposing man. Like, and I'm even fine with them, our main characters, sneaking around, doing this stuff. I like back to Robin, as I said at the beginning of this cast. I like Robin's as this radio show host because they are all working together, but they don't always want to be together, so people don't know what they're up to, because obviously they have a history with the government. So she's sending like secret. She'll play a Diana Ross song and give people of Hawkins facts about the song, but she's dropping numbers, so it's coordinates or whatever it may be, right? That's great. And I'm fine with that at the beginning. I kind of wish, and that's what I'm hoping, so that's what I'm waiting to see, that this point where Vecna just fucked up everybody, like Team Stranger Things kids and Team Army, where they're just like, you know what? Enough bullshit. Let's stop lying. Let's stop having to sneak around. Let's stop having to be like, oh, they're going to kill you, Elle. Like, just drop all that. That's kind of what my hope was going to be, where I always understood the other seasons where they did this stuff, the Upside Down. They're trying to contain it. They don't want to get out. So we got to catch 11 and our friends because we don't want to get up, and then it's going to fuck everything up, right? Last season, when the whole sky's red and everything's going to shit, that's where I thought it would kind of go away, because be like, oh, we just have to work together because now Armageddon is here. And we haven't got to that place yet, and I'm hoping we do. I'm hoping with the small little hopeisms they showed Linda Hamilton that it is just going to be, Kate, let's use all your resources, our resources. That's it. Vecna is going to kill us. He's taking our children. He's just throwing more Demogorgons than ever. Let's get out there. So that's where, for me, it's wait and see the army stuff. If it is just more of the rest of the season of them after Friends, we've done this every year. Even in the first season, if it's the cops, like every year it's authority versus the kids. It's my complaint with Mission Impossible. How many times can Ethan Hunt get framed and then be like, it must have been Ethan Hunt? Like, after the sixth time, you might go, you know what? He's probably didn't do it. Everyone keeps framing him, and guess what? He's never the bad guy. I do appreciate in one movie they did do the whole, like, he's been framed so many times, and we've believed that. Maybe he's pissed off, right? But I'm kind of done with that. So that's my week. It's kind of like my Russia this season, right? Where it's like the army stuff, I don't need it. It's not on there much, but we have so many characters, still would rather give it to other people's time when we're saying goodbye to them here, right? So we'll see. Sorry, audio listeners, I took a drink of water. I should have warned you, but at least it's keeping you on your toes, because for a second, you stopped. You're like, did my music stop? Did my iPad stop? It's just me drinking. So we'll see with that. But all the 11 stuff good so far. Only had the one scene with Mike. So that's another reason why I'm thinking that she could survive, right? Her and Mike aren't spending too much time together. Yeah, like my pink hat here, Victoria's Secret Santa hat, one of my favorites. Also, just because like messy hair day for your boy. Um, so what's another thing? Oh, so the imaginary friend thing. So this is where it's tough when these characters have been through it. I had seen this before where I guess this was in the trailer and I saw people being, it was on my timeline of like, this fucking guy better not be Vecna. I'm completely fine with the story. Makes sense. Kids have imaginary friends. This is another way to get to them. Good for the actor, getting more face time too. Doesn't have to be covered in the makeup and KY jelly, which I learned. So, that's interesting. But so I'm fine with all that. It's a good trope. I think the only thing for me was I feel like it's not an overall because they give Mike a great moment where he's planning as well, and he seems like him and Nancy are almost. It's like him, Nancy, Joyce, and Hopper are team captains, So I like that. But when he sits down with his sister Holly, right? Which that's what I do love about the show is these kid actors get older and they get a little better. And like, yeah, you get a screen time. We get to put you through lots of stuff, and it's smart to use Holly, right? She's seeing imaginary friend that reveals to be Vecna. But that's the two things where it's Mr. Oh God, I can't remember the name, but he's telling Holly about, I'll save you from the monsters that are coming. And she tells the Mike, like, I got this. It's not Mr. Fix It, Mr. What's It. I think it's Mr. What's It. Like, I got this friend, Mr. What's It. He's telling me all this stuff. He's telling me he's going to protect me and the monsters from Hawken. And that's where I get it. But at the same time, he's like, yeah, there's no monsters, not so ever. I get you're trying to protect her, but he kind of clocks it as like almost like nothing has happened, in my opinion, like the way he acts. I mean, that's good acting from Finn Wolfhard. But for me, it's like, in this world where you've seen so much going down, you've seen monsters, you've seen powers, all this stuff, right? The Upside Down. You're not going to clock that. You're not going to be somewhat worried that something's going on. And then even later on, once he realizes, oh my God, that must be something happened, worrying about the monsters, he jumps to, that must be someone trying to help her. Who could it be? And then he tells Nancy, and they're both like, yeah, who could be able to help her? And like, they don't ever think about the possibility of, what if this is Vecna? What if this is Henry? Like, what if this fucking around? So I feel like this is stuff that season 1 for sure. Season 2 and 3, okay, a bit of stretch, but okay, I could believe that. Once we're season 4 and 5, Mike and Nancy should know a little bit better, especially Mike, who was on this track right away. So there's a couple things that I think were a leap as far as your sister's talking about this and you're not even going to inquire about it a little bit, like right away. That should have been okay. And he starts looking into it. Maybe he's too late, right? The imaginary friend gets her to a point where he figures it out and that's gone, not after the fact. And to not even, I'm not saying you have to go right away, oh, it's Vecna, but to not even consider what if it's someone playing tricks, because they would have talked to, I imagine, like, I don't know the whole time, but their friends, and with the stuff Max went through, I feel like they knew she was seeing people that weren't there, right? And other people, and I don't know. It just feels like they could have figured that one out. But I digress. That was a little stretch, but I don't mind the imaginary friend thing. I like that there's this new method of, okay, I'm going to get kids. And I think his kind of idea is obviously what he was doing last season directly with the teenagers and just kind of tackling wasn't working. So let's go back to basic. Let's do like we did with Will and get kids, but let's just get kids plural. It's not just let's get one kid and use them as a vessel. Let's get multiple, right? And that's where I love highlight character. I could see why someone might be annoyed. Derek, I'm loving right now. I'm loving this guy, mouth breather, the douchebag, the dipshit. I like that it's a character, which happens sometimes, right? But I like that, okay, Will's having these visions and sees the next target is Derek. And of course, he's the kid at school that everybody fucking hates, which is just like a fun thing for the kids, right? And then they devise this plan like, okay, they got to get Derek. They're looking at all these scenarios and go, okay, well, the only way we could do it is we got to knock out his entire family. And then we got to kidnap him. And I love when they're starting to explain this plan. And luckily, Erica, the sister, is friends with the daughter. So they get in, they give her pie. When they explain, and then, oh man, this is a great shot where Erica, it's her friend. She's like crawling and she's tired. Erica just has a needle and just viciously like takes her out. I love how like mini vicious Erica is like throughout the whole show, but especially already in this season. But just this plan to abduct Derek is great. When he wakes up, Joyce is there trying to explain to him, but he just thinks it's like a full-on stranger danger situation. But now he's part of the crew. And I like that. He's like a lovable loser. He feels, again, very 80s coded, very like Christmas Story-esque. Like he's an annoying little kid, right? But now he's the delightful Derek. He's trying to pump himself up, right? Because probably he's been a little jerk asshole a couple times, and now people aren't his friends. So, and maybe because I was that way, I'm always cheering for like the little fat kid, right? I was a big fan of Mike in the It series, So I like that he's trying to be a hero. And the idea is now that the government's gone, okay, a kid went missing just like Will, and all our characters put that together eventually. Which I thought was a little weird thing where he went missing November 3rd. Will went missing November 6th. And Luke, it's like, that's 3 days when Will went missing. There's no coincidence. I don't know why they just didn't have it like November 6th, like just like on the exact same day. I get it. It's still a coincidence. It's still November. It still works. But I just thought, why not just make it the exact same day and then right away your character's not? But that's fine. Whatever. Maybe there's a reason, right? And that's the thing with Stranger Things. They reveal a lot of stuff. So they do this and they have this plan where, okay, all these kids are now just the government's abducting them. They're doing it the right way, but their idea is, okay, well, this girl went missing, Holly, just like Will. A lot of shit happened after this happened. Either we can't let this happen to any more kids, or if it happens, we kind of like want to see what's going to go down, right? So they have this plan. We're going to kidnap all these kids on a bus. Not kidnap. They're going to take all these kids, separate them from school, their parents, put them in the military facility, right? And ended with them all getting kidnapped, which I thought was a great thing. So Tony says it was an epic season. So far, I guess you could say. Let's hope the rest of the episodes are. And I think the finale of Volume 1 was where that's a great thing for our characters to lose. That's where, to me, I would prefer it, where I don't need Will, Joyce, Hopper all getting killed in Volume 1 night. Now we're going for revenge. I think Vecna abducting over 24 like little kids that are anywhere from 8 to 12, that to me is scary motivation. That's good enough motivation, and that's fucked up motivation where it's like, yeah, I just want to see them succeed. I don't need to see any of them die, right? And that's dark enough. So, but that's how it did end. I forgot to mention where not only did Will get his powers, but Vecna pieced out of there. Seems like he's free. He's more juiced and bulked up, but he's also got all these kids. So I guess the idea is just to use them as vessels and get stronger and stronger, right? So I think that was good. But the idea was, okay, Derek was supposed to be with these kids, or he can pass for being with these kids. They're going to send him in there, and they have this idea where they are going to go under the army base, like make an exit way and get these kids out of here. Any kid that have like talked to Mr. Whatsit or whatever the name was, the imaginary friend, Derek starts going around getting intel, and they're going to send them out. And of course, they send them to a bathroom. There's a hole in the stall. They remove something, get the kids out. Of course, obviously that didn't work because Vecna came and took them. But at the same time, there's one kid that just saw that kid like in the floor of the stall and runs right to the military. So that's when things go awry, right? But so far, the Derek character liking a lot of the humor. That's good. I hope he doesn't die. And that could be a character but I don't think so. I think he's going to get a redemption arc. So the Imaginary Friends stuff I liked, like in the stuff with Holly, and like we talked about earlier, I was fine. They seem alive now, but I was completely fine with Nancy's parents biting it, because those are characters where like I do care about them. I'm not looking for death in the show, but if some like you do want to have stakes, you do want someone to die, right? So you know the danger, and that's something personal, and that also to me gives another reason why Mike was talking about leaving Hawkins. If their parents are dead, I feel like Holly and Mike and Nancy, they want to get the fuck out of there for a multitude of reasons, but just also because, hey, our parents were mutilated here, right? And I thought that scene was great too, as far as the Demogorgon come for them, ripping through the roof. Like, obviously, I think season 1, season 2, there's a few times where the effects look a little iffy, but they've always looked pretty good. This season, they're looking top notch. Obviously, because Stranger Things is hot shit, right? So they're going to give them tons of money. But like this season, when they're ripping through the upside down coming in, great. But the whole moments of them hiding in the bathtub, the flickering, all this stuff, like great scene, the slow motion. Shout out to Nancy's mom for trying with that wine bottle going to town. I don't know if I actually needed the whole like subplot of Nancy and her parents are like, they're not divorcing, but they just like hate each other now. It's just like, well, you keep drinking, and I get what they're kind of trying to do. I think they're trying to say like it's kind of cabin fever. They talk about that, how people are getting nuts, people aren't moving anywhere, they can't go anywhere. But it just it's like the army thing in the middle of all the, especially. It's different if it was like season 3, right? Yeah, season 3 with Billy, right? Where she almost cheated on her husband with Billy. If you want to do that in that season, that makes sense because, she might have an affair because she's not happy with her marriage. We don't got time for not happy with their marriage. Vecna is juiced up. There's Demogorgons all over the place. We don't got time for this, right? You could have done a bunch of other stuff and just had them regular parents that they get attacked, right? Nothing else is happening. But so far, liking the Holly character. And I guess to talk about that, where I thought this was going to be the end of episode 4, but it was the end of episode 3. Big reveal that she gets, like, Holly goes to this traumatic event, but then Mr. What's-It's like a friend, the imaginary friend, right? So it's like, I can save you. And then when he gets her, instead of going, she's in the upside down in a sense, right? But not going to the scary tentacles veins. She goes to like a happy place where Henry lived, but it's all happy. They have a montage of her like putting on clothes and playing dress up, having food. She just has a Kevin McAllister, I'm all home alone, love and life moment, right? And then she starts to experiment. Someone leaves a note for her, and they reveal that person that left a note for her was Max. And we get a little flashback of what she's been up to, where she almost died, but she's kind of been in this afterlife situation, and she's been trying to find her way out of there. At one point, she decided it's impossible, but she did find a place that I don't think they fully explained that Vecna is scared of or can't go. So it's like his forbidden zone. It's his God, what is the bridge in Sleepy Hollow? I guess I don't know, just the bridge, Buckleberry Fridge. I don't know, but like no Buckleberry. That's that's Lord of the Rings. But I guess same thing, right? It's an area that Vecna can't go, and Max has been hiding out there. There's been times where she's been close. There's times where she sees her and Lucas. She heard the music. She heard Kate Bush, which great line when she's like, "Oh, my Kate," and I heard Kate Bush, and Holly's like, "Is that your friend?" She's like, "Well, kind of is now," and it's like the love and the passion of Lucas and her friends is making that she can almost get out, but not quite get there because Vecna interrupts her, right? I thought it was a great introduction. I think other than the adults, like even when I know Ryder, I think it's like a fine actress. I think she's not as good as she used to be, but like I think the acting in the show is not always like Emmy Award winning or Oscar like that level, right? I think there's some performances that are, and I think the people do their jobs well. But I think there is some people that also because they are kid actors and maybe they were better than a lot of kid actors, but they didn't per se like maybe like other people peers their age don't have the same level. I will say, I'm not going to say any names, so I'll just leave it there. But man, and I'll just generalize it. When Sadie Sink gets in, and I talked about this in our Discord, I talked about this on an episode when we were talking about Spider-Man rumors. When she gets in, she's to me like acting circles around all the people that are her age or under. It's just like, it feels like everyone's like, a kid actor, like, and again, kid actors nowadays are way much better than they used to be, right? But I just mean like in the sense of everyone feels like in the same ballpark, maybe a little better, a little, a little worse, kind of the same. But I just mean like, it still feels like, oh, they're here because they're these characters we love, and that's completely fine, right? But Sadie Sink, man, it just feels like she's a step above kind of them all. When she came in that episode, it's like, man, she's out acting kind of everybody. Even so, she's on par with all the adults. She's great. Like, there's a reason why she's in Spider-Man, Aronofsky films, and all this stuff, right? It's just, so that episode, really great, and I'm excited that I'm hoping that Max gets reunited, because Lucas gave her the speech about, hey, we really need you right now. It'll be interesting to see if she has any kind of, like, powers or so. I don't think we need that, because Will got that, so maybe we'll leave that to Will, but the reintroduction of Max, I'm very happy it was not just, it with Bill's wife. I'm happy it wasn't, we defeat Vecna, and Mad Max wakes up like, I missed you guys all, like, she's gonna be in the adventure a little bit, so I appreciate that. And that was good. All that stuff was working good reveal. And I think that was smart, where kicked off with the pilot. Episode 2 had some bad stuff, like bad grotesque stuff going on. 3 of the cliffhangers Max, and then 4 of the cliffhangers Will. So I think they're doing a good job of, if it was weekly, I think people would have been watching. That's what the creators want, but Netflix didn't, which I don't really know why they didn't want weekly this time. It's like, I don't know, you can make this talking point the whole time, but I digress. Liking that. The storyline I'm really liking, though, I think might be my favorite, is the Dustin storyline. When he's still lovable, but man, not only has he been through some shit, he just hates what happened to Eddie and what keeps happening to Eddie. That obviously we saw last season, where he's kind of set up as this like satanic people, think he was a worshiper of the devil and everything, but he's not. That's not the case. We saw what happened. He was an actual, hero at the end. He just caught in a bad place, wrong time. But I love that everyone knows, like, hey, you can't be wearing that Hellfire Club shirt, because that's pretty much, you just walk around with a pentagram or, some sort of cult like stuff, right? Because for him and them, it was just a D&D club. But for everybody else, that's a symbol of the devil. He's wearing it proud. He's got a trench coat, but that thing's unzipped and that thing's going everywhere. Even if it got ripped, it's going somewhere. So I'm liking all that. I'm liking how defined he is. I'm liking how he's just like, he's got Eddie-isms. That's why I like, where it's not like he's just become Eddie, but there's this moment where he sat down, someone said something, and he gave like the double birds, very Eddie kind of coded. So to me, I'm loving all this stuff where it's a darker Dustin. It's Dustin trying to be a guy that he idolizes. Because he is darker, he's still, what I appreciate, he's wanting to help the team, but he's screwing up a bit more. I didn't need the whole, because at first, what was it, Joe or Steve called him about something, and he's like, whatever, I don't got time. And they just hung up. I'm like, oh, I don't need a story of he's just like, fuck it, I'm done. You guys figure it out. I've lost too much. I didn't need that. I like that he's still wanting to help, but he's also just kind of fucked up and he's just trying to work through it, and he doesn't have time, right? Because they're trying to save the world at the same point. And I like that that's causing him and Steve to clash, like a big brother, older brother thing. They completely seem like they want nothing to do with each other right now. We all know, and that's why I don't think either of them are dying. They're gonna make good and like be happy. I don't think they will recreate the Eddie thing where one of them lose each other and it's like losing a brother. I don't think so. I think they'll get a happy ending. I think that's one that people would kind of not like if they didn't with each other. I could even see like them moving to that city and like Steve taking him on as like a roommate or something like that, right? Like I think that's gonna be where it's going eventually. But I like the system right now. And there's moments where he's like fighting bullies and they pin him against a locker and he's ready to punch. Like not a Dustin we're used to seeing at all. And that's where it's great, where it's a change of character, but it all feels natural. It all feels like a concurrent progression, right? And that's some of the great writing of this show. Bobcat Driver says these episodes were Spielbergian in the terms of cinematic direction. The Duffer Brothers, Frank Darabont, Sean Levy really get the flex to directing muscles. Absolutely. Obviously, it helps because they got a big budget, right, Bob? But that's because they've earned that. But yeah, absolutely. Like Frank Darabont should direct more. To me, Walking Dead was better when he was involved, like season 1 and 2. I think there's a reason you see a shift. Frank Darabont obviously done a lot of great stuff. Duffer Brothers, I'm very excited to see what they do at Paramount, even though Paramount's getting a little iffy with some of their like, we're going to make Rush Hour 4 because the president wants it. It's like, all right, cool. But like the Duffer Brothers after this, like unless they put a bunch of stinkers after, I'm going to watch all their stuff. And it's going to be hard to believe they would do a bunch of stinkers, right? And Sean Levy, like a very talented director still. We talked about in the Discord today where, yeah, sometimes does he maybe feel like a to hire type of guy? Sure. But he knows what he's doing. He's been around the block. So no, I agree with you. It feels like, and that's what the first series felt, or the first season especially, right? Like everybody looked at this and thought, oh, this is like Amblin E.T., but horror version, right? It's always felt like that, but it definitely does. It feels like that's my Spielberg I love. I love it more than Oscar Spielberg and whatever we've gone these past few years where, don't be wrong, Spielberg's still making some good to great stuff. It just hasn't been, nothing's my favorite. I haven't been wowed by anything he's done since War of the Worlds, but definitely Bobcat. They have that. It's just like in on, it just moves. It moves. Like I said, there might be the odd time a CGI thing might like stick out, but it moves like such a well-oiled machine. And yeah, no, it's fantastic stuff. The writers, Bobcat says the writers know how to start a scene right in the middle of the action and end a scene at the perfect sweet moment without killing the momentum. Really impressed. Yeah, pacing has always been good. Even the moments when they are setting up at the radio tower, and it's them cutting back and forth between like 3 locations. I'm always impressed where obviously they just film the scenes, you know, warehouse, Joyce and Hopper, clock tower, or like whatever radio tower, and then spice them together. But it's just how well they flow. It's just so it feels almost like a play at times where they're all there at the same time, but it's not. It's just very well done, and they've done that for multiple seasons, right? Of the characters cutting in back and forth between dialogue, which isn't like a new thing, but just they do it very well. Let's see. Mike, like I said, right now he's just kind of team leader. He's worried about his fit. Well, I would say like whether it's acting direction or this writing, I feel like they've done a better job of making Nancy feel sad about the parents. It feels like Mike is not like, I don't know, I haven't felt the weight of him losing his parents potentially, right? And I guess I didn't say that too. I would have been fine as bad as it sounds. I don't want death in the show, but it's more for our main characters. To me, those are the characters you could lose. You could lose the parents, be like, man, those raise the stakes. So when they're like, oh, she's alive, recovering, he's like, coma, I'm like, maybe you should have just killed him. You know, this was their moment. They found out. She got a good nice spot with Nancy at the end. I think it would have been okay if they're dead, but we'll see what happens. And that's where if they make it alive, I feel that the entire, like, I can't remember what their family's last name is, but they got to make it out, right? So they can be reunited, Holly, Mike, Nancy, and the parents. So the other storyline, which I think would be the last one I'll talk about, if anything else pops up in my brain, I'll bring it up quickly. But so we got the love triangle still going on. I talked about this last season where, so season 1 picks up with Nancy and Steve. It's already like, she's maybe not exactly into him. They're on different wavelengths. And then back half of season 1, even though she stays with Steve, you can tell, okay, she's smitten on Jonathan. And then 2 and 3 is all about Jonathan and them together. Sure, they have some moments, but it feels like they are endgame stuff, right? We're then randomly in season 4, which I don't mind. I get the storyline because long-term relationship, especially in that time, right? It's not like us. Like don't get me wrong. Anybody doing a long-term relationship right now, still tough. Still obviously a tough spot, but you can call, you can FaceTime, you can fucking be doing sexual pleasuring yourselves and looking at each other while you're doing it, right? Not like the 80s where you couldn't just have your phone on you all the time and just contact that person, right? So that I understand as far as the idea of how that puts it apart. I think what came in surprisingly to me was Steve back in the picture, because obviously he had a thing with Robin, but it wasn't a thing because she's gay and that character's back, which I like. I like that we got on that. I like that it's not will they, won't they? They're still in the zones. They're dating. They're making out. Maybe they're getting it on. I don't know, but I like that. Okay. They're a couple. Boom. Done. Okay. I don't think she exactly knows what's going on, but at the same time, that might not be the worst thing because we do have a lot of characters already that are in the thick of things. Maybe near the end she can find out, right? But it was surprising to me that they put Steve back in the whole, because I think the thing that was missing was Steve. That's what I liked about the first season, that he was a dick, but near the end of that season, he tried to apologize to Jonathan, tried to do the right thing where he was he was a dick because he was immature. He wasn't just a dick or a piece of shit. So now he's kind of matured out of that. And any of that dickish has just kind of become like a little cocky, or he makes some jokes, but it's not like, oh, he can't, stand Steve. It's just like for comedy reasons now, right? For the most time, there's a few moments where he might be a little douchey, but it's all in jest nowadays, right? So that's the idea and the concept where he's matured and maybe he would be right for Nancy. And I was surprised by that storyline. I was like, okay, we're near the end game. I think they kind of were hinting season 5 is the end. And it's like, really, we're introducing this back. But then at the end of last season, nothing really happens too much. And then even though it's a little awkward, her and Jonathan get back to right together. And Steve, because I just watched, has this kind of look of like, ugh, like I missed out. Like almost kind of like Nancy was thinking about it because he was there, like Jonathan was gone and he was there, and it's kind of like a good second option. But with Jonathan, it's like, oh, like now that you're back, yeah, you're the one I actually do love, and I want to be with you. So that's what I thought the look was. But the first scene we have of them this season is they throw it on a map. Steve gets really close to Nancy, and she like kind of shuffles over because she's like their bodies are pressed against each other, and Jonathan notes that, right? And episode 1 is all about them competing. They're trying to see who can get to the top of the tower first, who can like be more braver. So I'm like, okay, like what we gonna do here? If it's like a 3-way thing, it's like I don't know if because like I like Steve now as a character a lot, and I still like Jonathan. I think I still like Nancy and Jonathan together, and I prefer that. And I know people that prefer the Steve thing, but if they're doing the whole season them trying to one up each other, I think in that route you kind of just have Nancy go, you know what? This is a time of our lives, but we're all going to move and do different things, and maybe we'll just be friends, and I love you both, but I can't be with you both. Unless they're a throuple, I guess, right? I don't think people were doing that in the 80s, but like, to me, if they're competing for each other, it would have gone the way of, I'm not going to be with either of you. Let's go our separate ways, be friends, happy that we have each other, right? We always come back together, it as adults, and we'll have a bond, right? But now we had two things where Steve kind of admitted that he's trying, like, because the parents got text, oh, we should go give her flowers and stuff. He kind of admitted, and Jonathan clocked it as well, as him saying like, oh, the only reason she's feeling this way and talking to me and doing these things is because you're not there, which I appreciate from the Steve character, still kind of be like, hey, like I do or could have feelings for her, and if you don't step up, I'm gonna. But it's almost like Jonathan to me was saying, she's your girl, you're going to win this, but you have to still win this by like stepping up and being there. If you don't, I'm going to win by default, right? It's kind of like if you're competing against someone like in a sporting thing, it's like, if you know they're better than you, but they're injured, you got a shot to beat them. And I think that's what he's trying to say was, Jonathan, you're injured. You came back as kind of this like aloof stoner, and you're not present. If you're present, that's why Nancy's going to stop talking to me, or I'm going to stop talking to Nancy. So to me, that kind of felt like he was waving the flag. And then we didn't get much more interaction of him and Jonathan with that stuff, and no interaction of Steve and Nancy. And then after we found out that Jonathan got a ring. So that's why for me, I think I'm still in the camp where Jonathan is going to step up. There's going to be a big speech or moment of him talking about said things about not wanting to hold her back. Because that was the whole thing, right? Of Jonathan, if you don't remember in season 4, he was like, oh, I'm going to hold her back from kind of having this like massive life. Like, I'm going to be an anchor. She just best move on without me, right? I think he's going to come to the conclusion that he does need her and he doesn't want to do those things, and he'll raise her up, and she will reveal, because she's never said that was the case, she will reveal that, no, I still love you and you're not an anchor. Like, even if I don't have that stuff, I got you. That has to be way, because now if the ring wasn't involved, I'd say it's anybody's game. With the ring involved, it's like, is he going to propose to Nancy and not happen? Now, there is a situation that he dies with that ring and she finds out, and it's heartbreaking, right? And she misread the situation where he still loves her. He's just like a little awkward about it, doesn't know how to handle these things. Jonathan's still like an awkward character at times, right? He has evolved, but still he is, as I said, sometimes and aloof, and especially with the weed, he was going hard in season 4. So maybe that messed him a little bit. So I'm still leaning that way with the ring. To me, I think the scenarios are they make and get engaged. All 3 of them don't end up together. He dies with the ring. Like, I really don't feel the Steve thing's gonna happen. I don't know. I just don't feel, because the same thing too. Like, and is that like a sad ending where Jonathan dies with the ring? She finds that and she thinks about how much she loved him, then ends up with Steve. It's like that feels like you're setting that marriage up to be a little torn, right? It's like now you're officially the second option, maybe, right? So I hope it's kind of resolved by unless Jonathan dies, I hope it's kind of resolved before the finale. I'd like them to be in sync, but yeah, we'll see. And I'm still, I still like the storyline. That one for me is just I need to see how it all goes. I think before I can really judge it, because even last year that threw me for a loop. I was like, really, they're doing this, and I like Nancy and Jonathan, so I was like, I don't know if I need this. And now I like this, and I like the way they've portrayed as far as, like I said, how far apart you are and everything. So I think on a second rewatch, it's like, okay, I can see, especially when I watch all 4 seasons back to back, and you do see Steve's progression. It is kind of like, oh, imagine that guy that was your first love. He was a dick, but now he's like the version you wish he was, right? It's like, oh, it maybe would give you pause, right? So I've like that. Let's see, Joyce and Hopper. I like the same thing. They're just love. They're kissing each other, talk about how beautiful she is. She doesn't want to lose him. Great, that all works for me. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but I think I've hit it all. And yeah, so far, I'm not going to rate this because I need the whole seasons, but so far, episodes 2 thumbs up. Like I said, you heard, like, I have a few critiques, but all the critiques are of the minor degree. Mike reacting to his parents, the sister thing, some of the army stuff, but so little things but I don't even think that would, like, if the show can really stick the landing and be as great as 4 and 5, I can comfortably give this like a 10, It's just maybe if some big cons happen or like the army stuff. But even then, the Russia stuff for me, I didn't love it, but as I said, it was still well done for the most part. So that's why I could still give season 4 a 10, because it's like, well, from enjoyment level, it's still there. So yeah, we'll see. I'll be back. So if you like this episode, if there's anything I missed or anything you want me to hit on in the future, and I imagine in the what we've been watching on news, we'll probably talk about the show a little bit more. So on Newscast, we'll get some of the other geeks' opinions and everything. But yeah, I'll be back whenever. Probably review will be, if it drops Christmas Day, I'm going to say, let's say 27, maybe 26. You never know, but we'll have to see what happens. So thank you very much for everyone that listened to this, everyone that was in the live chat today. I hope you enjoy Stranger Things. Hope you enjoy this episode. Like I said, I'll be back with the Volume 2 and Volume 3 reviews a day or two after they drop, and then lots of other stuff on the feed. So I promise when you hear from us next, it'll not be boring.